I call the Honourable Member Reno Tirakatani. Atamari ai kei te pihia koi.
O karu kia ora, tēnā koe, he te kai whakamana. Kia koutou, e te manuhiri tuarangi Ngati Makino, tēnā koutou. Nau mai, hara mai, whakatau mai, ki te pāre mata, e takatū nei, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Mr. Speaker, it is with honour that I rise as an elected member to a Māori seat, Te Taitonga, to carry on the mahi of the hundreds of Māori who have since the 1860s been coming here to Pōneke to carry on the take of their whānau and hapu to Parliament. And so it's just an absolute pleasure to be here today, and I'm delighted to be able to share in this occasion with Ngati Makino. But there's been some low points. I'm reminded, Mr. Speaker, of Wee Parata, a former member of this House, sir, whose case against the Bishop of Wellington was thrown out by Judge Prendergast, who claimed that the Treaty of Waitangi was a nullity. Thank goodness those remarks are consigned to nothing more than the Laws 101 lectures. Today, for Ngati Makino, the Treaty of Waitangi displays its power. The mana that was intended by Hobson and the chiefs of New Tireni all those years ago in 1840 will today acknowledge the past wrongs of the Crown over Ngati Makino. As a new member of this House, I have left it to my senior colleagues to tell this whare of the mana of these people, the Ngati Makino. But may I rise just to make a point or two. Sir, it always amazes and saddens me when I hear stories of hapu and iwi who decided for their own valid reasons to side with the Crown and yet still had land confiscated by that taniwha known as Raupatu Pākehā. Mr. Speaker, the Ngati Makino tried as best they could to stay out of the fracas between the Crown and Waikato. But when the conflict came to the Bay of Plenty, this proud iwi had to make a decision many hapu and iwi up and down the motu at that time had to make. Who to side with? Inevitably, Ngati Makino were split, and with that split, the Crown managed to not only undermine the authority of Ngati Makino, but to use that split as a show of disloyalty, and like a dog chewing a bone, they therefore punished Ngati Makino with raupatu by pen and paper. Talk about a loyal employer. Another point, Mr. Speaker, survey costs. Like I mentioned in the Maraeroa A and B bills, the hoary old subject of colonial survey fees has raised its head amongst yet another iwi and hapu of Aotearoa with Ngati Makino. That same modus operandi was employed by the Crown throughout the country, and it's a sad indictment of the state, the Crown and Pākehā thinking of the day. And that thinking was, get Māori into debt with the Crown, and when they can't pay off that debt with money, they can pay it back with land. And then they can sell it to only one entity that's able to buy the land. And you guessed it, it was the government of New Zealand. That was the same story that we had with Maraeroa A and B earlier this morning. The same method of operation employed by the Crown. Mr. Speaker, wasn't it enough to come up with legislation that made the Crown the only entity able to purchase the land? No, it went further than that. Come up with a judicial system that will allow alienation of Māori land, but to sell there must be a title, and to have a title there must be a survey, and to get the survey and title someone had to get paid. It was a sweet operation. Get Māori to alienate their land and to pay for that privilege. Well, Mr. Speaker, once the lands of Ngati Makino swept from the lake shores of Rotoiti, Rotoehu and Rotomā down to the coast at Maketu and Pukehina and Otaramako and Hauone and Pikowai to just a little east of the Tarawera River. By 1919, Ngati Makino were virtually landless. Nearly 448,000 acres were alienated, the majority due to Crown purchasing techniques. Even land at Otamaraka and Whakarewa, reserves deemed inalienable, were sold. And if that wasn't enough, the iwi suffered further land loss with the use of that terrible taniwha known as the Public Works Act. Mr. Speaker, of those 448,000 acres, approximately as we've been told 0.6% remain in tribal hands. So, in contrast to that checkered and that dark past, Mr. Speaker, we now come to today. And we have come a long way. And Mr. Speaker, the people of this small but proud iwi will be able, in some measure, to leave behind those grievances and start out with a new and fresh mandate. May I just finish, Mr. Speaker, and acknowledge my colleagues on the Māori Affairs Select Committee, under the capable chairmanship of my whanaunga, Tau, the Honourable Tau Henare, and also the fellow members of the committee. It has been a real honour and privilege to be able to guide this pere, these settlements through the House, and to be speaking at this, their final reading. I'd like to also acknowledge the Minister and his officials, and most importantly, the people of Ngati Makino, who have worked hard to bring this bill to fruition. And I mihi to you all, and I just wish you all the very best for the future, and I commend this bill to the House. Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora. Honourable members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Ngati Makino Claims Settlement Bill, third reading.
I understand, honourable members, that permission has been granted for a waiata. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tatou katoa, kakati anō. Honourable members, the House stands adjourned until 2 p.m. this afternoon. Haere rā.